This video was made possible through the radiant support of Paul Klein Peter and dozens of other people on Patreon just like you. If you're interested in supporting it or getting involved in other ways, check out the links below in the description for all kinds of cool stuff and ways that you can get involved. Thank you. Hi there guys, welcome back to the shop. I'm Chris Boden, and today we're doing Project Archi episode 24, where we're going to learn about the roller chain and installing all the sprocket stuff and getting the motor mounted, and this whole axis is about to come together. I also wanted to take a minute and let you know that the actual production of these videos happening here in the spacious confines of my basement workshop is shared live on Discord. If you check out the links below in the description, you could actually be one of these laughing assholes. Say hi, guys. Hello. There's a whole herd of people hanging out on live while we produce these videos and while I work on projects in the shop. I do all kinds of stuff like this awesome toy. Can you guess what that is? Can you identify that? There's your question for the internet. Can you tell me what that is? But this is the kind of thing that we do not on the live stream, or well, we do on a live stream, but not for production videos. And there's just all kinds of fun stuff going on, and you could be hanging out and being a part of this. It's totally free. It doesn't cost you anything. You just check out the link below, get in the Discord, go to the Discord server, and there's a room called Live Chat, and you can just hang out and be one of the cool kids. But for now that I've invited the whole world into here, I'm going to put you guys on mute for a second because I gotta talk to the cooler kids. All right, I'll be back. And that way they can talk to themselves and continue their conversation, and I'm not screwing them up. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to get this motor mounted, we're going to join a chain, and we're going to start off with a little bit of weirdness. So you're going to need a couple things. You're going to need this chain in your kit. Now, I got my chain as part of the kit, so maybe this is a little bit different. Like if you buy the raw chain, you have to cut it to length. And there's some stuff you're going to need to know, so I'm going to tell you that. This is the chain. It is a 04 Bravo, 04B type of chain. They make a million different sizes of chain, and it's really important to have the right one. This is 6mm pitch chain, and that means from the center of that pin to the center of the next pin is 6mm. And then everything else is based on that size and type and strength and all kinds of stuff. And that's why you need to know 04 Bravo so that you know you've got the right chain. You'll also need this little thing here, which is called a master link. And this is one link of the chain with a little spring clip. And with that, you can make your chain however long you want. Like if you just want to hook a few pieces together, you can cut the chain, and I think about the minimum you could get is 4 links. But that's the problem, because how do you count a link? This messed me up really bad, because the manual says you need to have 20 3/4 inches of chain, and then in the next line it says that's 43 links. Okay, cool. So I measured out my chain, and I can show you right here. My chain came at 20 3/4 inches in length, which is awesome. I can measure it right out here on my bench. Each one of these little grids is 1 inch, okay? Because I'm in America. So I measured it out, and I have, this chain is already pre-cut at 20 3/4 inches. So I'm like, all right. I bought it as part of the kit. Mr. Annan's really awesome, and he probably bought a spool of hundreds of feet of this, which has to weigh a ton. And he took the time to cut it out to the right length for everybody, and that's really, really cool. And it's one of the reasons why I love the fact that even though you have to do a lot of work to put this robot together yourself, because Chris Annan made a kit, a lot of the heavy lifting and the footwork and just the bullshit of time you would have to waste getting all these parts together is already sorted out. He's already got the parts, the CNC stuff done, he's got everything sorted. It's great, I like it. Well, my chain came already cut at 20 3/4 inches. The problem is, I started counting links, because I measured, I was like, oh, okay, that's probably right. And I started counting links because I wanted to make sure I had exactly 43 links, because shit happens, wear a hat. So I start counting links, and I did, oh, hey, we got a subscriber. Hi there, Justin. So I start counting links. Now I'm looking at this, super genius that I am, and I say, okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's how I would count the links in a chain, right? Wrong. The way you count the links in this kind of chain is you start on the side, and let's throw a little light on that so you guys can really see what I'm talking about here. And you go, that's 1, the outside oval, and then 2, that outside oval, and then 3, because on this chain there's inside and there's outside. And the only way the math works out on this, for this to be 43 links, is if one link of chain consists of an outside piece plus an inside piece. Because when I count this out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a whole bunch, 11, 55, and then we're all the way down, and I end up at 43. So it works, and that's how you do. And if you cut your own chain on the ends, you got to have 2 insides. Okay, so you don't finish with an inside and an outside. It isn't like a male-female thing, except it kind of is. But your master link is a dual female, so you got to, or a dual male. So you got to finish with 2 of the inside links. Okay, but you want to end up with 43 links in your chain. And there's enough adjustment in it that it's not a big deal if you're plus or minus 1. It should be fine. Says the guy who hasn't actually built one of these damn things, and everything I know about chain I learned off Wikipedia 15 minutes ago. But yeah, that's what I got. The overall length, finishing on an inside and starting on an inside, puts me, like, the chain doesn't stretch at all. So you end up at exactly 20 3/4 inches with the overall length of the chain, not counting the master link. So now that we got all that sorted out, how do we use the master link? Okay, here's what you got. You're going to have a little piece that looks like that, and it's going to come with an even littler piece that looks like that. Now when you get it, let's get this right down here where you can see it. When you get it, this may be attached on here. So this might come with that clipped on the side. Get a pair of pliers that slides right off, it just clips on. So you've got this set up, and you're going to want to take that off as well, so that you end up with just one piece. Now this is attached on here and it doesn't slide. So when you're getting this set up, anything that slides off, take off. And then you put this through one end of your chain. Okay, and it'll just kind of click right in there. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Stevie G, for kicking in a $100 donation. That is massive. I appreciate that a lot. That's really cool. This is my full-time job, so I appreciate it when you guys kick in a couple bucks. That's how I eat. All right, so we've got our first piece all together, and this is what you want it to look like. You should have the chain going right through there. Okay, the pin goes right through the hole in the roller chain. So we're going to bring this whole piece around, and I'm going to do this up here so you can see it a little bit easier. You cannot put a twist in this and get it together. There isn't enough flex in the chain, so you really don't have to worry about screwing this up. Because you can put a twist in this chain, but to get that to twist enough to put it in backwards, you'd have to have like 10 feet of chain. So you just bring this around until they line up and slide that right through, okay? So you're going to bring it around till they line up and slide that right through the hole. Click it in. Fuss and fart around a little bit and it'll click in there, okay? So now we have that piece looking like that. You can see the 2 pins sticking out a little bit further and everything else. And you can see how there's, I'm going to get a little pointy thing because I want to show you, this is important to see. If you look in here, you've got a shoulder right there, and then you've got this little line, this little tiny groove on both. That's important because the shoulder part is where the extra link goes on. So we're going to drop that right over the 2 pins, and it'll just click in place and make sure it goes all the way down. Okay, and I didn't even have to use tools for that. It just popped right on there. Okay, and then this piece, this is the master link clip, and we're gonna bring that in from the side, and that's gonna, you're probably gonna need a pair of pliers for this before we're done. So I'm gonna grab a pair of needle nose. And I'm just going to tease that in there. Okay, so we're past the first one and it falls up. Oh, hey, okay, this might have just gotten easier. Can we put this on halfway? Is there enough space in the middle? I think there is. Hey, cool, all right. We're learning stuff together. So then you just gotta grab, and my pliers are ever so slightly magnetic. That helps. All right, so we're gonna put one on the pin and one on the back and squeeze. And if it's all lined up, that should just snap right in there. Yeah, like that. All right, and there'll be a little snap, and it'll lock in place. And now you've made a link in your chain. That's called the master link. And this is really easy to pop apart if you ever need to in the future. But now we have a continuous length of chain. Excellent. All right, so now we have to get this on the robot. So we're going to pull our robot out, and we're going to hang our chain on the sprocket. Now this is cool because this lets me make sure I'm lined up. Now I've got a little bit of interference there on my thing, because remember how we didn't have that quite lined up where we wanted it? So I'm going to grab an Allen wrench and adjust that to get that right where I want it, because I want that to have a little clearance off the thing. We can do this on the motor end too. Now I'm going to mount the motor first and just get that into a stable position. Yeah, so that's about how everything's going to end up looking, like that. And I want to get the motor into a nice stable position, and then we'll adjust both sprockets to where we want them to be, because this is really easy to move. And I want to make sure I got the orientation right on this, because there's going to be a specific side this wire wants to go out, and I think it goes like this, but I'm going to check and be certain. So let's find out to know for sure. Just going to leave that hanging there because that's my prediction. I think that's how it goes. Yep, I had it right. So you want to have it with the bolts facing down on the thing, and then we're going to grab 4 bolts with washers. I think those are M420s. All right, you're going to need 4 bolts with washers. These are M4 by 20, and we're going to put them through from the back. Do the little dance and get it in the hole. I'm just going to start them all by hand, and then I'll run them in with a wrench. Now, as long as you're using M4 by 20 bolts, you're not going to have any danger of engaging the wrong holes. There's 2 little holes down on the bottom here that are different, but you won't be able to fit an M4 into those, so you're fine. I'm pretty sure those are the bolts for the cover that goes over this later, which we will be 3D printing soon. Alright, I got that in there. Now I'm going to spin the whole thing around and just run these down. Not tight, but just enough to get things roughly into position so that we've got stuff where we want it. So I'm gonna leave those backed off like a full turn. That's in, and then back out a full turn. Make sure to have your washers on there and everything. Okay. All right, now I've got my motor where I want it, and that's looking cool as hell. I'm digging that. All right, so I'm looking in the side. Maybe I can show this to you guys a little bit. This clearance between the chain and the arm, I want to have, I don't want that rubbing. That's not good. And you can see up, way up here at this end, that actually dives right in because the chain will flex a little. And this would work, but it's gonna bind, it's gonna make a hell of a racket, and it's gonna either destroy the chain or the housing. It's gonna chew the hell out of this. So we gotta move this out just a little bit because I wanna have some clearance there so that we have a happy chain. Move all that out the way. Can I get you a shot of that? Just about. That's not too bad. All right, so we're going to get this Allen wrench and adjust this sprocket out. Am I going to get lucky? Yes, I am. All right, so the wrench you need is 2 millimeters for that. And we're just going to break it loose. And then once it's loose, I'm going to leave the wrench right in there. And we'll turn this up. Trying to get you a decent shot of this. So we're just going to slide the whole assembly out a little bit. Oh man, we're hanging out on the end of that shaft. Oh, it's plenty of room. Okay, that'll work. And run that down in there. Good and tight. Run this one in here. That's tight. Okay. Now we got to go down on the other end. And we're in there. Now this'll move. This is cool. And we'll jump on the other end. So I'm going to just manually turn that around. Because I need to see. Now this is going to be a little tricky because I got to get in there. Now the bottom, I'm dumb. I'm just going to lift that up. And I've got enough play in it, I think. Maybe? Maybe not. That's tight enough, I can't even take it up. Alright, so I'm going to take the bottom two screws out for a moment. There's a lot of fussing and fidgeting around on this to get it just right, but it's worth it in the end. And if you take the time at this stage to do it right, you won't have to screw with it later, because a lot of this is pretty much set and forget. You'd have to use this robot for a long time to really wear anything out. So you can just take out the bottom two and lift up the motor enough to get the chain out of your way. And we can set the chain aside. Because for the first bit of this, I just want to reach in here and loosen these just a little bit. And then the top one. And we're going to slide that forward a little bit. Now there's a keyway on the motor, and I want to make sure to keep this adjustable, but screwed in enough that it locks axially and stays in the keyway. So now I can position this for my motor. Oh, that's lovely. That's exactly where I want it. Yeah, just barely off. You just want like a millimeter or two of space is all you need. You just want to have this not dragging along the front surface. And now that I've got that where I want it, I'm going to hold everything nice and tight. Yep. I'm even going to tighten these two screws down. Not super tight, but just enough to keep that in position. For just a minute, because I want to make sure nothing moves. I want to make sure I'm right on my shaft and everything's happy. And then I can run this in. And I'm going to have to put a little bit of a bend in my wrench, but it's okay, it can do that. And tighten that first one down really good. So that'll keep that from moving. Now I can't quite get my wrench in on the side here, I don't think. I think I'm going to have to take the chain off to do it, but let's give it a shot. I might get lucky. No, not happening. Alright, but we've now, with the first screw, we've got that locked on the shaft where we want it. So we can loosen these. And now we can just lift that straight up and get the chain out of the way. And now I can reach in with the other wrench here and run that down tight, because that's right on the line. And I can really tighten this one. Okay. Now I'm going to put my screws back in, and we'll bolt this in place. Nope, not yet. Put the chain back on first. So just drop the chain on the top sprocket. That's easy. And then spread it out and drop it on the bottom sprocket, and things will just kind of sort themselves out. Oh yeah, now it's all happy. Everything moves right. You can definitely tell when you've got it set up right, because until it's set up right, it doesn't really move very well. We'll run that down, and then half a turn loose, just a little bit. The third one, and then we'll put our last bolt in. Okay, that's cool. That's way cool. All right, now these are all just a, not even a half turn loose, just like a quarter turn loose. And that'll hold everything where you want it. And now, when you turn the shaft on the motor, this'll start to engage and move, which is cool. And we can see we have a lot of play because it's still super loose. So the next thing to do is we're going to tension our chain, and that's done. See if I can show you guys a good shot of this. Okay, so we've got our arm here. Down on the bottom there's these small bolts that lead into there. Get it from the other side, you can see it better. Alright, down on the bottom of our motor, see these bolts that stick out? You run these in, and these are your tensioning bolts. And these bolts will go through the block and put a lateral force, like a shear moment, against this bolt here, and it'll try and slide this block out that way, and that's going to put tension on your chain to keep everything how you want it. So run those two bolts down evenly, with just light pressure. And I'm going to find the wrench that fits them. It's bigger than a 2, but not by much. I'm going to get into my Allen wrenches a second. Okay, it seems bigger than a 2, so I'm going to try a 2.5. Yep, 2.5 seems to fit it. I'm fighting it with the short end when I have a ball end on the other, and that's definitely the way to do it. This is really a good application for a ball end Allen wrench. It makes it worlds easier to get in there with a ball end. And this is totally a place where you're absolutely going to want to Loctite this with some blue Loctite. Do not reef down on these super tight. You just want a little bit of like fingertip pressure is going to be all you need to get that wonderfully secure. Yeah, that's great. You can generate a lot of force with a screw really fast. So you want to be careful not to over tighten these. But that'll get us all tight. So you bring these in to where you're like just a fraction of a turn, like a quarter turn loose, and then tension it with the 2 bolts on the bottom, the tensioning bolts, and then go back and tighten these all, and that'll hold it in position. And don't go nuts on tightening them. You're just tightening an aluminum thread. That's beautiful. That's art. That's done. So now when I turn the motor, the thing turns on top, and everything's smooth, and everything works front and back, and nothing shifts, and it's everywhere you want it to be. And that is super cool. It also means that, yeah, don't do this fast. This is a gentle thing, but if you slowly turn the top, the bottom will move too. That's cool. That is J3 done. We're halfway to a finished robot. How cool is that? So, thank you guys for hanging out and joining me for episode 24 on the Project Archi series. If you like this kind of thing, if you like building stuff, I want to know you. I want to hang out with you. I want to hear from you. I am all about people that are motivated and want to make cool stuff and put it on the internet. If you want to make one of these, you can find the kits for this. This is a whole kit. It's a whole thing, and you just got to pile more of them in stock at Annan Robotics. I'll put a link below in the description, and you can get a hold of him. I don't work with Chris Annan. I'm not sponsored by him or anything like that. This is just a project I wanted to make, but I really stand behind his kits. I really support what he's doing. I think it's amazing that one guy decided to make a massive, complicated open source robotics kit, that he did all the hard, complicated work so that guys like you and me that are just starting out, just learning this stuff, he's done all the heavy lifting so that we can just get into it and enjoy it. And I believe in what he's doing, I support what he's doing, and that's why I'm making this video series, because I want to get people like you making cool stuff and putting it on the internet. So check it out, check out Annan Robotics, check out my Discord. You can get in there and hang out and explore the channel. There's a million other videos on here of all kinds of projects. I do some really weird stuff, not just robotics. And I'm happy to have you hanging out. Thanks for watching. You guys have fun, and as always, I'll see you next time. Project Microstroke. Project Archi, episode 24, main sync. And that's all the fucking zoom we got. Shit! Alright, hang on. We're gonna start that over. Because that was kind of a shitty intro. And I think I can do better. Plus, I want to make sure to talk to you guys real quick. Mark, Project Archi, episode 24, sync. I know stuff. I'm famous on the internet.